This combination performs so well as both are fiend decks that love to discard, and the lab cards don't lock you out of the plunder lines. So in this video we'll go over 4 combos. And we'll start with 2 turn 0 combos, and begin by activating Stovey or Chandelier to set Welcome Labrynth by discarding the Whitebeard, and we could do that immediately. Also we could opt to go for Big Welcome, but that will play out differently. This will trigger the Whitebeard from our grave and allow us to summon Redbeard. It will lock us into special summoning plunders only. So don't activate a Kook Lock if you have it, the trap cannot summon this turn. Moving on, with Redbeard, we can tag out into a Plunder extra deck monster corresponding with an attribute that is on the opponent's field or graveyard. All monsters do have their merit to being summoned this turn, for possible extension or interruption during this turn or the next. I do like summoning Jord when possible. However, if we would go for the Furniture Whitebeard play at the end of the turn, we are able to set up the board even better for our own turn. So instead of going into Redbeard early, we'll summon Goldenhair late in our turn from the Whitebeard discard. Then during the second turn, our first turn, we can use the Labrynth trap that we've set to summon Arianna, triggering her effect to search the Big Welcome. Obviously we could search any Labrynth card depending on our hand, but we'll assume the others are blank cards. With 2 level 4s, one being a tuner, on the field, we can synchro summon Jord and start doing our Jord things. With Jord we'll first grab Whitebeard from our grave whilst moving her towards the pendulum zone. Then trigger her second effect generating 2 tokens. Depending on the board state you can go for either dark, light, or fire. We'll generally go for the light tokens. Before going to the next step, if you want to special summon any non-plunder, please do it now as we are going to lock ourselves out of the possibility to summon those this turn in the next step. Now we can use Goldenhair's effect to special summon her from the grave by discarding the Whitebeard, locking ourselves into plunders only. This will also trigger Whitebeard to summon Bluebeard from our deck. Next we'll link summon Blackbeard with Bluebeard and the token, triggering Bluebeard to discard and draw a card, and we'll discard the Big Welcome. Then we'll target the Goldenhair to summon Alice. We could have summoned Bran or Merc too, depending on the attribute we choose with Jord. And if we've summoned anything but Merc or Blackbeard, we can use the Big Welcome from grave to bounce a card as we control a level 8 fiend. Next we'll go to the battle phase and do some damage. Also do keep in mind that we haven't normal summoned this turn, so we could have done some extension earlier on, for significantly more damage. Now the next combo isn't a Lab Plunder combo per se, but will work great in this build. We'll start by normal summoning the Goldenhair, which will immediately link into Almirage. Then we'll use Goldenhair's grave effect to discard the Rainbow Bridge to special summon herself from the grave. Do note that we are now locked into plunders only. Now we can use Rainbow Bridge to fetch us the Shipyard and a Crystal Beast from our deck. Next we'll activate the Shipyard and use its effect to grab Bluebeard whilst discarding the Crystal Beast. Then we'll special summon the Bluebeard and use him and Goldenhair to synchro summon Jord. As usual we'll go through the Jord lines by specifically grabbing Bluebeard and making 2 light tokens. Next we'll link the token and Almirage for Blackbeard. And immediately tag him out into lists and draw a card. This will be our last action of our turn, so we'll end our turn here. Now you might ask why we wanted to grab specifically the Bluebeard with Jord. Well, when we would activate Liss's effect, we can discard the Bluebeard to grab a Whitebeard from our deck. Then when Bluebeard triggers, we can draw another card and discard the white. Which will then be able to special the Redbeard from our deck. However, I would only go for this line when we have another plunder in hand, otherwise the disruption provided by the other plunders are not possible. And our last combo will showcase Lab Plunder's combined effort, which is similar to our second turn 0 combo. But this time we'll start by normal summoning Arianna to search Chandelier. Then we'll use Chandelier discarding Whitebeard to set Big Welcome. This triggers Whitebeard to summon Goldenhair. Synchro both monsters into Jord and do Jord shenanigans. grabbing Whitebeard back. By eventually creating light tokens. Next we'll use Goldenhair from the grave to special summon herself whilst discarding a card from hand. Obviously Rainbow Bridge is the best choice, but we'll forego its effect and treat it as a blank card. Use the token and Goldenhair to link summon Blackbeard. And use Blackbeard's effect to tag out into lists, also drawing us a card. Then we'll set the toggle to on, and end our turn. Since we have the toggle to on, during the opponent's draw phase we can activate Big Welcome to special summon and bounce any Labrynth card that we'll need. So initially we'll summon the Kuklok that will immediately bounce. This will trigger Chandelure in our grave to return to our hand. So at minimum we'll have a monster negate and destroy with Liss, which can summon Redbeard when we discard Whitebeard. However, if we had any plans going for a lab line with the Kuklok and Chandelure, we should have done it beforehand. Since we already have a lady, this would be extremely devastating for the opponent, but remember, all non-searched cards are considered blank cards. Furthermore, we can resummon Blackbeard with Liss for another tag out plus draw, and potentially Redbeard can also tag out for another interruption. Also, if we manage to keep Liss, Jord or Bran around, we can use Big Welcome to bounce a card on our turn again. This, plus all the cards we've drawn in the meantime, can give you many interactions, which is extremely fun to play, and can be really rewarding. So before we go to the decklist, a quick reminder to do all your non-plunder special summons before either Whitebeard's special summon effect, Goldenhair special summon herself from the grave, or Black Eye's special summon itself from the hand, as all these effects will lock you in special summoning plunder patrols only. Then the decklist. I've found this to perform quite well, but changes can definitely be made to streamline this deck to your preference. Feel free to share ideas in the comments down below. A detailed decklist can be found in the description, and whilst you are down there and found this guide helpful, please think about liking or subscribing. It will help the channel going forward. Thanks. Lastly, for guides on each individual engine, on the left you'll find the most recent Plunder Patrol guides, with on the right the Labrynth videos. Remember that the combos presented in these linked videos can often be performed by this deck too, depending on your hand, as these videos often show 2-ish card combos. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you need anything else to watch, let the YouTube algorithm introduce you to some videos that are put on your screen about now. Happy viewing!